Welcome into Seahawks Today. I'm your host, Will Ortner, and oh my goodness, did the Seattle Seahawks get a gift from the Minnesota Vikings? What is that gift? Well, we're going to have to get into it, and then we're also going to have to ask the question, after kind of going through some of the numbers, is it actually a gift that the Seahawks are getting? Maybe it is a big gift. Maybe there's the potential that it isn't even a gift altogether. But before we get into that, don't jinx the Seattle Seahawks. You want them to beat the Vikings. I want them to beat the Vikings. Come on in and like the video. Hit that thumbs up. Don't be the person that jinxes it. You don't want to be the person on Sunday if the Seahawks don't get the game to go their way that says, oh man, I should have liked that video that Will put out on Tuesday. Go on in, hit that thumbs up button. Now, what is that gift that I'm talking about? Well, unfortunately, Minnesota Vikings starting quarterback J.J. McCarthy, who you can see here just absolutely getting twaxed in that Green Bay Packers game, got roughed up a little bit, and he is not going to be able to play potentially against the Seahawks because he has entered concussion protocol. Now, this comes from Alec Lewis of The Athletic. He said the Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell said J.J. McCarthy reported some symptoms in regard to his head on the travel home. He ended up getting evaluated on Sunday night. The training staff and doctors decided that it was time to put him in the concussion protocol. He's going to go through the process this week. And as soon as I knew the news, I fired out this tweet myself from my own Twitter. Feel free to go and give me a follow at Will Ortner. I'm tweeting out the latest breaking news for your Seattle Seahawks, and that is J.J. McCarthy is officially in the concussion protocol. And this is big news for the Seahawks. I also think it is important, though, to note that J.J. McCarthy is not officially out for the game yet. There is a potential that he could go through protocol and still play on Sunday. Only time will tell. Now, who's going to play quarterback for the Vikings? Because I think most people would initially go into this and say, well, if J.J. McCarthy's out, that must mean, of course, Carson Wentz is going to play. Carson Wentz has had a decent little season so far. He started in J.J. McCarthy's stead while he was dealing with some injuries. He played pretty well in Europe, but then you're going to have to remember, well, Carson Wentz, he got hurt, and he's already done for the year for the Minnesota Vikings. So it wouldn't be Carson Wentz that would be getting the nod. It would actually be a different quarterback that went to the University of Minnesota and the University of New Hampshire. Alec Lewis had this. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell said that Max Brosmer would be in line to play if J.J. McCarthy could not go. Now, just like I said, they're not ready to give a report yet over in Minnesota. They're going to let JJ go through the protocol, do their proper due diligence. If he's able to play, it does sound like KOC wants McCarthy to be the guy. But if he's not, we're going to look at an undrafted free agent in Max Brosmer to be ready to go out on the field. Now, what does his player bio look like on the year? He's played a little bit in just like some garbage time stead. And he's got a decent little completion percentage, decent amount of yards. Normal size quarterback, a little bit undersized, not the fastest, not the quickest, but there are a lot of people out there that are giving him some pretty nice comparisons to another quarterback that, he was drafted as the very last pick in the NFL draft. And we'll get into that in just a moment. But I do want to say this about Brosmer. He is a player that has been an underdog. He was FCS New Hampshire for the majority of his career, ended up transferring over to Minnesota, playing for P.J. Fleck, rowing the boat, and Fleck was able to get the most out of Brosmer. He looked pretty darn good last year with the Gophers. Not someone who's going to light the world on fire, but a very serviceable quarterback and a guy that Seattle just can't completely overlook. Now, I do want to ask this question, though, whether it's J.J. McCarthy starting or it's Alex Brosmer, or Max Brosmer, excuse me. Who do you think the Seattle Seahawks will get their first shutout of the year on Sunday? This defense, as good as they've been, they haven't had an opportunity to get a shutout yet. Do they get that done on Sunday? Let me know down below in the comments. Now, my take on this is that this defense should be foaming at the mouth. Whether you're getting J.J. McCarthy or you're getting Brosmer, this defense has been nasty all year, and after a lackluster performance, I would say, despite injuries, I would say that this defense wants to show everyone just how good they are and that it wasn't fair what happened when they played the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward is a special talent. He's a special player. There's a reason why he was the number one overall draft pick, and he didn't necessarily expose the defense, but he showed some of the flaws in them, and I think they might want to get their get back against the Minnesota Vikings. But I do have to ask the question, could this be good for the Minnesota Vikings? Not that McCarthy is hurt, because I still think that Minnesota plans to use McCarthy as their long-term quarterback option. Otherwise, why would you let go of Sam Darnold? But I will say that it's not like McCarthy's been playing fantastic this season. Could this be an opportunity for McCarthy to take a deep breath, kind of relax himself, figure out some of the issues that he's been going through? But more importantly, could it also allow Brosmer to come in and potentially show what he can do? We've seen teams in our own division not be afraid to bench a high draft pick that they took because there was a player that they got at the late rounds of the draft, or in this case, a undrafted free agent, because that was the better option that they had at quarterback. We're going to dive into more of the numbers for McCarthy and what could be going on with Brosmer here in just a moment, but I need to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. It is the holiday season, the best time of year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes, it is all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right. Prize Picks. New feature alert. Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. On Prize Picks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose Flex Play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the Power Play. No matter your play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. I have a 2-pick power play for the action this weekend. Travis Kelce, more on his receiving yards. Jackson Smith-Njigba, more on his receiving yards as well. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Now, I told you that McCarthy's season hasn't been good, and I knew it was rough. Didn't know it was this rough. When you look at what McCarthy has done in just 6 games of action this season, he is right around that 50% completion mark. He doesn't have over 1,000 yards on the year yet. And, well, he's got 4 more interceptions than he does have touchdowns. And unfortunately for him, you're seeing a lot of people go onto social media and compare McCarthy to Jamarcus Russell. Is that entirely fair? Well, actually, when you look at the stats and you look at the numbers and you look at everything that's going on for McCarthy, it actually is. Alec Lewis had this to say in his article yesterday. McCarthy's performance this season has been historically poor by most meaningful measures. On Sunday, he completed 12 of 19 passes for 87 yards and threw 2 interceptions. Over 6 starts, he has completed just 54.1% of his passes, and the more advanced statistics paint a similarly grim picture. Among 854 qualified quarterbacks since 2000, McCarthy's EPA per dropback ranks 853rd, ahead of only one former player, and that, of course, is number 1 pick, Jamarcus Russell. So the comparisons are completely fair. McCarthy has struggled all season long, and while it is the first time that he's really gotten to see NFL action, he spent all of last year rehabbing his knee injury in an NFL locker room. I think there was a lot of hope, especially in Minnesota, that he was going to hit the ground running and really put out a stellar performance this year, and he has done anything but. Now, he has had to deal with different injuries throughout his time in Minnesota with the Vikings, but I do believe that there is already some belief, not just in the fan base, but potentially in that locker room, that he might not be the guy. Now, only time will tell. Give him a moment, give him time, give him a year. I mean, shoot, he won a national title over at Michigan, so clearly the kid can find a way to win and has found a way to win multiple times this year in the National Football League, but things don't look so good. Whereas when you look at what's going on with Brosmer, I mean, at least the head guy has some belief in him. Here's what Kevin O'Connell had to say on Max Brosmer. You walk away saying this guy loves football, and he's a pretty high-capacity thinker, analyzer of things, throwing some work ethic, and ... Look, I still think that the Seahawks got a gift. Whoever the starting quarterback for the Vikings is, that's going to help Seattle. Why? Because you're either getting to go up against an undrafted free agent in his first game starting, despite what all the nice things that everyone has to say about him, or you're going up against J.J. McCarthy, who right now is getting compared to Jamarcus Russell, who everyone knows was not very good. Now, there are comparisons of Brock Purdy to Max Brosmer, but I will say this. I watched Brock Purdy play on Monday night. Kid still threw 3 interceptions. I'm not scared of fake Brock Purdy. I know what they're doing right now on Vikings Twitter. They're trying to hype the kid up. They're trying to prop him up, saying, hey, look what he could do. Could he be a big-time player? Could he be the type of guy that takes this team to the next level? It's a good roster. It's a good defense. Flores is doing great things over there, but JJ isn't maximizing all of those things for the Vikings. I still am not scared of him, man. I don't care. I don't care who's playing quarterback. There's a reason why Brosmer was the number 2. There's a reason why he was behind J.J. McCarthy. Are you nervous for new Brock Purdy? I've made it pretty clear. I'm not nervous at all. I'm not nervous at all. I think the Seahawks defense eats. I think this offense goes out and puts up a great performance. And I think we're celebrating a back-to-back victory Monday on Monday. Help us out. Come on in and make sure that you like the video. You love the Seahawks. You love us. Hit that thumbs up button while you're here. And if you're a new viewer, thank you so much. You stayed all the way till the very end. You know what you might as well do? You might as well subscribe to the channel because you love us and you love the Seattle Seahawks. We've got content coming out daily. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time.